I've tried a few times to figure out how to do this video. Yesterday, I cried in front of a stranger. Didn't try to shy away or hide from it, just showed up authentically in that moment. And before, I would have abhorred to admit that. And I had a really loving partner who I was going through a lot. We were both going through a lot, but um, I ended up crying. But before I did, I turned away, and he turned me back to himself and said, "Cry louder." And it was the first time I had been fully given permission. And we shouldn't need permission to cry. We shouldn't need permission to be authentic, to let out those emotions. So many of us process things in private. And while, yes, that can be the safer way to do it, figure out what our emotions are. And sometimes it's just a release. Crying is usually a release of negative beliefs or mindsets or perspectives, or sometimes it's just about getting that overwhelming emotion out. But what crying means is that you feel safe enough to process those emotions. And it's not about being dramatic, it's not about attention seeking. Some people do cry easier than others, whether that is more sensitivity, whether it's more overwhelm, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But showing up so authentically in that moment. Before, I I would have just made an excuse. I would have immediately gone to the washroom. I would have pretended to tie my shoe, given myself a moment to collect myself. And it was just shitty news that I was hearing. And it was a receptionist. So I want to send out full gratitude and thanks, because it was just a moment where I was just very present, and I ended up rescheduling my appointment. So there was some, yeah, not so great news. And she's like, "Well, would you still like to stay and speak with the person you're here to see?" And I went, and as tears were running down my face, and it wasn't loud, it wasn't anything extra. It was just, "I'm really anxious, and I would just really like to reschedule, if that still works." I didn't wipe those tears away. I didn't apologize for crying because we don't need to. I just allowed the moment to be what it was: vulnerable, transparent, authentic, connecting. Because we've all had those shitty days and those moments. And when we can just acknowledge that, I think that's what humanity needs more of. Where can you show up a little bit more authentically with the people around you? And in the present moment, where can you garner that safety of expressing yourself without hiding, without shame, without embarrassment?